Most people believe that if you work hard, follow the rules, and stay consistent, you'll eventually build wealth. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Millions of Americans are doing exactly that, and still living paycheck to paycheck. So what's really going on? Why are so many people stuck financially, even in one of the richest countries in the world? And more importantly, how do you avoid becoming one of them? If you look around, you'll notice something strange. People are earning more than ever before, yet they're also more stressed about money than ever. Credit card debt is rising, savings are shrinking, and financial anxiety is becoming the norm. It's not just about how much people make, it's about what they've been taught, how the system works, and the habits they unknowingly follow every single day. Let's start with the biggest lie most people grow up believing. Go to school, get a good job, and you'll be financially secure. Sounds simple, right? But the problem is, this formula was designed for a different time. Decades ago, a stable job could support a family, buy a house, and fund retirement. Today, that same path often leads to just getting by. The cost of living has skyrocketed, but wages haven't kept up in the same way. So even if you're doing everything right, you might still feel stuck. And here's where things get more complicated. Most people rely on a single source of income, their job. That's it. One stream. If that job disappears, everything collapses. There's no backup plan, no alternative income, no safety net. Financially successful people think differently. They don't rely on just one stream. They build multiple streams. But most people were never taught that. Now let's talk about something that quietly drains wealth without people realizing it. Lifestyle inflation. This is one of the biggest traps out there. When people start earning more, they don't invest more. They spend more. They upgrade their car, move into a bigger house, buy more expensive clothes, and slowly increase their monthly expenses. So even though their income grows, their financial situation doesn't improve. They're just living a more expensive version of the same life. Think about it. How many people do you know who got a raise, and a few months later, they're still broke? That's not an income problem, that's a spending habit problem. And it's exactly what keeps people stuck. Another major reason is debt. Not all debt is bad, but most of the debt people carry is the kind that works against them. Credit cards, car loans, personal loans, these are liabilities that take money out of your pocket every month. And because interest compounds, the longer you carry that debt, the more it costs you. It's like running on a treadmill. You're putting in effort, but not really moving forward. What's even more dangerous is how normalized debt has become. People don't see it as a problem anymore. It's just part of life. Want something you can't afford? Just finance it. Swipe a card. Pay later. But later always comes, and when it does, it usually comes with interest. Then there's the lack of financial education. This is a huge one. Most people spend years in school learning subjects they may never use, but they're never taught how money actually works. No one explains how investing works, how taxes affect your income, how to build assets, or how to manage risk. So when people start earning money, they're basically guessing. And guessing with money often leads to mistakes. Imagine trying to play a game without knowing the rules. That's what managing money feels like for most people. And unfortunately, the system doesn't really encourage financial literacy. Because the less people understand money, the easier it is for them to make decisions that keep them stuck. Let's talk about another hidden factor: consumer culture. Everywhere you look, you're being encouraged to spend. Ads are constantly telling you to buy the next thing, upgrade your life, treat yourself, and live in the moment. And while there's nothing wrong with enjoying your money, there's a big difference between spending consciously and spending impulsively. The problem is, Many people spend money to feel better. It becomes emotional. Bad day? Buy something. Feeling bored? Shop online. Want to impress others? Upgrade your lifestyle. Over time, this creates a cycle where spending becomes a habit, not a decision. And habits are hard to break. Social pressure also plays a big role. People compare themselves to others all the time. They see someone driving a nice car or posting luxury vacations online, and they feel like they need to keep up. But what they don't see is the debt behind the scenes. Many people who look rich are actually financially fragile. They're spending everything they earn just to maintain an image. Now let's talk about something most people don't think about: how their time is being traded. When you rely solely on a job, you're essentially trading hours for money. And there's a limit to how many hours you can work. That means your income is capped. If you want to earn more, you either have to work more hours or get paid more per hour. But there's only so far you can go with that. Wealthy individuals focus on leverage. They find ways to earn money that aren't directly tied to their time. This could be through investments, businesses, or assets that generate income. That's how they break out of the cycle. But again, most people are never taught to think this way. Another reason many Americans struggle financially is the lack of long-term thinking. It's easy to focus on today, what bills need to be paid, what purchases need to be made, but building wealth requires thinking years ahead. It requires patience. It requires delayed gratification. And in a world where everything is instant, that's a difficult mindset to adopt. People want quick results, quick money, quick success. But real wealth is built slowly, over time. It's built through consistent habits, smart decisions, and discipline. And because it's not flashy or exciting, many people lose interest or give up too soon. There's also fear. Fear of investing, fear of losing money, fear of making mistakes. And while these fears are understandable, they often lead to inaction. People keep their money in low-interest savings accounts, missing out on opportunities for growth. Meanwhile, inflation quietly erodes the value of their money over time. Speaking of inflation, that's another factor that makes it harder to get ahead. The cost of living continues to rise. Housing, food, healthcare, education, all becoming more expensive. But if your income isn't increasing at the same rate, you're effectively falling behind. Even if you're saving money, it may not be growing fast enough to keep up. Now here's something that might surprise you. Being broke isn't always about income. There are people earning six figures who are still living paycheck to paycheck. And there are people earning far less who are financially stable. The difference isn't just how much they make, it's how they manage what they have. It comes down to habits, daily decisions, mindset. The way you think about money influences how you use it. If you see money as something to spend, you'll spend it. If you see it as a tool to build freedom, you'll use it differently. So what can you do about all this? First, start by becoming aware. Pay attention to where your money is going. Track your spending. Identify patterns. You might be surprised at how much is being spent on things that don't really matter. Second, focus on building assets, not just income. Assets are things that put money into your pocket. Investments, businesses, skills that can generate income. The more assets you build, the less you rely on a single paycheck. Third, educate yourself. Learn how money works. Understand investing, budgeting, taxes, and risk. You don't need to become an expert overnight, but even small improvements in your knowledge can make a big difference over time. Fourth, control your lifestyle. Just because you earn more doesn't mean you need to spend more. Keep your expenses in check and use the extra money to build your future. And finally, think long-term. Wealth is not built in a month or even a year. It's built over decades. The sooner you start, the more time you give yourself for your money to grow. At the end of the day, most Americans aren't broke because they're lazy or not working hard enough. They're broke because they've been following a system that doesn't necessarily lead to financial freedom. But once you understand the rules of the game, you can start playing it differently.